home kitchen pizzeria. If you followed my previous videos, you've already made your dough and you've already made your sauce base. What we're gonna do now is put it all together and make ourselves a pizza. So the first thing you wanna do is, if you have refrigerated your dough, you wanna take it out of the refrigerator and let it continue to kind of warm up and rise a little bit more for probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then we're gonna add whatever ingredients you want to your sauce. I go with basically basil, oregano, red pepper flake, and some freshly grated Romano cheese. You can add whatever you want. You can add fresh garlic, you can add pretty much anything that you like. So we're gonna go ahead and just add all of our ingredients in here. And what I also do, and this is entirely up to you, is I add a little bit of water because just making the sauce the way that we do, you can see it's very, very thick. You may like it that way. I like to make it a little bit less thick so that it spreads a little better on the pizza. And then we're just going to carefully, whisk that all together. You can see it's still very, very thick. If that's what you like, great. I'm going to go with just a little bit more water. And we're going to get that all mixed up nice so that the flavors can all blend. And there you go. And now we're going to let that sit and let the flavors meld while we wait for the dough to rise. All right, so now we've got our dough rising, we've got our sauce mixed up. What else do we need on our pizza? We need cheese, of course. So a lot of you may go out and buy bagged cheese. That's entirely up to you, but I strongly recommend you shred your own cheese. The bagged cheese that you buy at the store will not melt the same way due to the additives that it has in it to keep it from clumping up. Strongly recommend whole milk mozzarella. You can get the kind that says great for shredding. That makes it a little bit easier than some of the softer ones. One block of this, if you go sparingly, will make about 3 pizzas. If you like a lot of cheese, I would definitely go with 2 blocks of it. And then I just hand shred this while we're waiting on everything else to get ready. All right, and there you go. You got some nice, freshly shredded mozzarella. All right, so here we go. We're in the home stretch. Congratulations if you've stuck with me this long. I'm not sure I could watch myself for this period of time, so thanks for sticking around. First thing before we get started making the pizza here, I'm going to give you your free tip of the day. You'll see a lot about flouring your peel or using cornmeal. I'm not a big fan of cornmeal, although it will work. A little trick that I learned way back that's worked really good is getting semolina flour. It's very fine, it doesn't stick to your dough, and it works like a champ keeping the pizza from sticking. Also, I get a little shaker like this, and then I can just sprinkle the semolina all over my peel. My pizza will not stick when it goes in the oven. We'll be good to go. It is messy, but small price to pay. All right, so now, first thing we want to do is get a bowl of flour. And we want to put a bunch of that on our table here. And then we're going to take the dough that's been rising for a few hours. Get your hand nice and floured up. And then just let gravity do its work. Don't try to pull it out of there because you'll tear it. It won't turn out as good. Just kind of maybe coax it lightly with your fingers, but let it fall on its own. And then you see nice risen dough there. All right, so now we're gonna make sure it's nice and coated with flour. And then what you wanna do is, you wanna take the palm of your hand and push it down dead center. You don't wanna push it on the edges because you wanna keep the edges kind of risen. So just kind of work your palm kind of around a little bit to flatten out the center. Then you wanna just start working your way around, kind of pushing out from the center. You can see if you take your fingers at this point and just kind of make a ridge along the edge. That's going to be your crust, right? That's what you're all used to seeing. You don't want to make it too wide because it will bubble up quite a bit. If you like a big crust, that's fine, but don't go overboard. All right, you can flip it over a couple of times, kind of work it all in, work your fingers around there. Now this part you don't have to do. It'll help get the flour off and kind of just get some practice kind of shooting it back and forth, kind of rotate it as you do it. And now you want to put your hands like this and just slowly turn it and stretch it. This does take practice, but once you get good at it, it's really easy. If you want to get fancy, you can throw it up in the air. We've got it stretched out pretty nice. You can probably see me through this. Now you just want to gently lay it down on your peel. And now we're all set to put the toppings on. So here's the sauce that we made earlier. You want to go sparingly on this. You don't want to put too much sauce on it because it will make the crust soggy and it'll overpower the pizza. So I go kind of light on this. I do try to get all the way to the edges as much as possible, just leaving just a little bit on the edge. All right, now a normal place would put cheese on next, right? I'm gonna do it a little bit different. I'm gonna put my pepperoni on the bottom. Try this sometime and see what you think. You can put it on top, but it gives it a kind of a different taste. And I know it's the same ingredients, but it kind of cooks differently. So I'll just put my pepperoni all over there. And now we've got this cheese that we shredded. And just give a nice sprinkling of that on top, as much or as little as you prefer. Kind of spread that out evenly. With the semolina on here, you don't have to rush as much as you normally would if you were using flour. It will keep it from sticking pretty well. Before you put it in the oven, what you want to do though, you want to kind of give it a test. You want to kind of just shake it back and forth. You can see that it's moving fine, so that means it's going to go right into the oven perfectly. All right, so now it's time to put it in the oven. The way I've got my oven set up is I've got a pizza stone on the very bottom and I've also got another one on the top. You don't have to have the one on the top, but it helps kind of even out the heat. You want to open the oven as quickly and close it as quickly as possible. I'm just going to gently get that in there. You can see it just barely fits. Close the oven up. We're at 525 degrees. If you can go to 550, that's even better. And now we're going to watch it cook. All right, so here's the moment of truth. It's about 10 minutes in the oven, and there you go. See that crunch? You can see the nice air pockets you have in your crust.